Welcome to 101.1 FM WBRULP WFOOLP WVVXLP Providence. I'm your co-host, Dhruv Anand.
And I'm your co-host, Alejandro Jackson.
And this is the Outta Pocket Podcast,
where we pull conversation topics out of our pocket.
And occasionally, go out of pocket.
So on today's show, we're covering the holidays, and we're going to be creating a holiday tier list. With that being said, happy holidays, everyone, and let's get into the show.
So for those of you unfamiliar with the concept of a tier list, just real quick, a tier list is where we basically order things based on, frankly, how awesome they are, with S tier being the most awesome, followed by A, B, C, and D. With D, obviously, being the least awesome. We're going to be talking about, just all things holidays. Few rules that we're going to establish for the tier list, though. We're not really going to talk about anything that we don't have personal experiences with, because it would just be disingenuous to the purpose that we're trying to get at here, because we're just trying to have fun. Mm-hmm. Any other rules?
Let's see. So I guess aside from that, we want to make this tier list, I guess, as comprehensive and as lengthy as possible, I guess. So, we're totally okay with including like individual things. So, like, for example, instead of categorizing holiday movies as a whole, as like a group, mm-hmm. we'll categorize like individual holiday movies that we've seen, know, on how we think, I guess, they sort of add cheer to the holidays.
Definitely.
As those obviously, I guess throughout the podcast we'll kind of just add rules as we go. If we kind of stumble across something that we haven't thought of before, we can just add a rule for it. I mean, hey, if the U.S.'s constitution can be amended, we can amend our rules too. So
that's so true.
And just a note, we will be typing during this episode of the podcast, so we hope that you can excuse some of the typing noises that may go on in the background, but it's just so that we can actually type out this tier list, which we'll be reading back to you guys at the end of our episode.
Absolutely. So before we get started, let's just what are your experiences been with the holidays, Alejandro?
So personally, Christmas is my favorite holiday. I know that sounds really cliche to say, but I just know that growing up, my mom always made Christmas really magical with the traditions, and waking up and opening presents from Santa was always something really magical, and I'm still excited for Santa to come this year. So
that's facts, bro.
I'm waiting to see what he brings me, and alongside that, just getting together with family and friends, making Cuban hot chocolate on Christmas morning. Those are really like special things. That like you get up, you wake up, you open presents from Santa. We make Cuban hot chocolate in the house, and you get to play with toys and new games like as you drink hot chocolate. It's just really nice. It's just a really nice time to spend with family and whatnot. So how about you?
Definitely. I mean, Christmas has always been like a huge, definitely a time to look forward to every year. Part of that's just like kind of growing up in American society. I feel like there is a very heavy emphasis on Christmas being like the peak holiday of the year. And, I didn't really grow up with a Christian background, so I can't really speak to like the religious aspects of the holidays. Mm-hmm. But I still definitely, like, even when I was a kid, I'd still be so hyped for Santa. Like, I have like very vivid memories of like running down the stairs, just like seeing like our lit Christmas tree, like, at the bottom, like at the very foot to the left of the stairs, and like Christmas morning, like booking it down in my pajamas and taking a look at like what the gifts were, just spending time with my family, because it was always like chilly by that point of year, so you could just like get cozy under a blanket and like chill out. Yeah, those are definitely some good times.
Yeah, my room was actually across from the living room where we had our Christmas tree. So like, yeah, just like you said, like basically wake up and just run straight across into that living room and you see all the presents. Really nice. And then I also wanted to talk about like obviously with the whole theme of the holidays, we don't. I feel like a lot of people kind of forget New Year's. So like I feel like New Year's like is also really nice. I mean, obviously I feel like the whole point of New Year's is that it's meant for people to reflect you know, I guess the year that they've just had. I think we did a lot of that. We're gonna be doing a lot of that this year, definitely. But we definitely did a lot of that last year. I remember 2019 going into 2020, everybody was like, yeah, new decade,
2020 vision,
this
baby.
one's gonna be so great. We saw how that turned out. So anyways,
yeah, there's that thing that happened, right?
Yeah, so at the end of 2020, I feel like a lot of us were left, you know, thinking back to like the year we had, and you know, what we could do to make 2021 better, and in light of what went on. And
I think for the large part, 2021 has been good.
It has been good. A bit of a return to normalcy. And you know, we're still not out of the clear, but in terms of the pandemic, but definitely things have improved. And you know, I know you and I are both really grateful to have gotten the ability to have basically, for the most part, a normal college experience thus far. So you know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember last year, literally Christmas time is usually like, I get really hyped because that means our family usually, you know, takes a trip to my uncle's house, or we've also spent a lot of Christmases driving from Georgia to Florida and like sort of chilling on the beach for a little bit, and like taking in the New Year's on the beach, which has also been like another good experience. But last year, it was like, it didn't feel special, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there's just so much other stuff going on that when New Year's rolled around, like I could barely find myself excited enough to like actually stay up till midnight. So we were just like watching movies to kill the time. And like I watched like the Pride and Prejudice movies starring Keira Knightley. Yeah, I don't know. That was my sister's idea, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, since travel was restricted last year, I feel like, you know, a lot of people's holiday plans were ruined. But I know, like, in years past, traveling is one of the most magical parts of the holidays. You know, just getting to connect with family in different places, or just visiting a new place. I remember in 2017, a little before my Christmas break, I went to New York, and I feel like Christmas in New York is one of those magical things. Like,
definitely,
you know, New York always goes all out every year with the Rockefeller tree and all the decorations that line the streets, and it's really nice. It's really pretty. And it actually snowed that year. I think that was the first time I've seen snow fall.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was really nice. And then, you know, and going back to New Year's briefly, I remember I went to Cuba one year in 2013. Nice. I spent New Year's with my family in Cuba, and you know, that was another really nice experience. It was something we had never done before, spending New Year's abroad. So it was a really interesting experience, but very, very, very much so appreciated that I got to spend a holiday with family that, you know, I had only met for the first time 5 months prior.
Oh.
So yeah.
I've never been to New York during the holidays. I mean, I've only ever been to New York once. But still, like, you know, I've seen the movies, and it definitely looks like a fun time. So speaking of movies, let's get into the holiday tier list.
Let's get into the tier list. So is there anything that you want to sort of categorize right off the bat?
Yeah, so I guess the easiest place to start would, of course, be like the movies, you know, as we just mentioned, because I love watching movies, and I think a large part of that is just growing up with a family who loved watching movies together. Like, we'd always have a tradition of watching movies like every Friday night if we could.
Yeah.
So what are my favorite holiday movies? Well, obviously the ones that come to mind for me are Elf. What are your thoughts on Elf?
It's a classic. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I don't get why people clown on Elf.
You think S tier? A tier.
A tier. It's good. Yeah, because like Elf, it's a classic. Like, you know, you get to see Will Ferrell just like act absolutely insane for like 2 hours.
And I think it definitely encapsulates a lot of the magic behind Christmas.
Absolutely, yeah. It is one of those magical movies, and it's like, it's a fun feel good movie. So like, yeah, Elf is A tier. What comes up for me? Would you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I knew you were gonna ask this. For the sake of I say yes. I'll say yes.
For the sake of discussion, yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In which case, Die Hard is like, Die Hard's an instant S tier for me.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's see. For me, there's a movie called Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I feel like not as well known Christmas movie. It's about 51 minutes, but it was always something that used to play every Christmas morning for me after hot chocolate, and it's just I feel like maybe nostalgia influences a lot, but it also was one of those movies that really captured the magic of Christmas, and also imparts a really nice message about being kind to other people, about the idea that, you know, besides the gifts that you get from Santa Claus every year, it's always nice to just give a gift to, you know, the ones you love, and just, you know, make them feel appreciated, like that you're thinking about them. So at least that one for me is always a classic. Although, so for me it's S tier. I know.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. I haven't watched it, but I can imagine that it's a good one. I got a fun one up next.
What's up?
So you ever remember on like basically Christmas vacation, you're kind of just chilling at home from school or whatever, and you flip to Cartoon Network and you see Grandma got run over by a reindeer?
That was S tier. Hey,
calm down. I was like, I don't know about that.
It's for the musical score.
Okay, the songs were fun.
The songs are really good.
The songs are fun for sure. The plot was always out of pocket for me because I would always catch different parts of the movie with each year. Like, I'd never watch the full movie. So, like, I'd have to, like, remember where I left off, like, the year before and try to pick up. So, like, the plot was always, like, super confusing for me because I'd be like, I mean, basically, the title says it all. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. But then there's, like, that whole, like, a whole deal where, like, he and Grandpa go to the North Pole or something to find Grandma. And then his sister is, like, acting really, like, sus with that rich guy. And I was just, like, I don't know, like 7 years old. And I'm like, wait a minute. But, yeah.
Okay, so in retrospect, I'll put it in A tier because I wouldn't say it's better than Elf, but it's definitely a fun one. So it's probably low A tier.
Yeah.
Which I guess maybe we should talk about briefly. So within the tiers, you can kind of rank things like within the tiers. So obviously, like, the first thing in A tier is obviously better than the second thing in A tier. So I guess if you guys want to sort of think about those sub tiers,
the A minus, A plus.
Yeah, essentially, it's like an A minus, A plus. So yeah, playing off of that, since I would consider that more of a Christmas special than anything else. I know you and I both are big fans of this series. Doctor Who Christmas specials.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, with Doctor Who Christmas specials, since we want to make this as comprehensive as possible, although I can't say I remember every single holiday special. I think we should rank them by Doctor, if that makes sense. So
okay.
Like, so 10th Doctor Christmas specials, 11th. And
I don't know if I have a super great memory because I watched all of David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston and Matt Smith, for that matter.
Yeah, me too.
When I was in like 6th grade.
Me too. Yeah,
so
me
it
too.
has been a hot minute. But I'll try and do my best to remember because obviously Doctor Who is just one of those shows for me.
Me too.
Like, my Instagram handle is a Doctor Who reference. Like, it was just one of those very big shows for me. And the Christmas specials, especially by the time I got caught up so I could actually watch them around Christmas time, very much like fun experience.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big Doctor Who fan too. Fun fact about me, I have 2 sonic screwdrivers.
Hey, I only have the Matt Smith one, so you got me beat up there.
And David Tennant one.
Nice.
So I guess I don't know if you remember some of it. So I remember there was a 10th Doctor special that he like steered a flying cruise ship away from crashing into Birmingham Palace.
Yes.
And
And
he met
Buckingham Palace, I think.
Yes, my bad. Buckingham. Yeah, you're right.
The British.
And then There was an 11th Doctor special that was.
Okay, yeah. Whenever I think Doctor Who Christmas special,
Yes, I think 11th Doctor.
the first one that comes to mind is the special where 11 regenerates, and like, oh my God, what a beautiful episode of Doctor Who.
I watched that one that came out. Yeah.
Because like he was, basically it was, I think the plot goes. It's the time of the Doctor is the name of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up on a planet called Christmas, and because the Doctor is essentially, like, for all intents and purposes, immortal. Like the Doctor only regenerates, or in general, Time Lords only regenerate when they have been critically injured, but they haven't been injured to the point where it's like an instant death. So they can regenerate. So, like, to protect this planet, for whatever reason, I forget, like, the specific, like, reason that he protects the planet, but he just, like, sits there guarding the planet until he gets, like, literally super
so
old. And the companion at this point is Clara. And Clara's, like, basically he's, like, with the Doctor the entire time, and it's just like such a heart-wrenching moment to see, like, arguably like the most youthful and like exuberant Doctor probably like of all time, or you can make the argument for Jodie Whittaker, but like, you know, just watching him, like, or watching the character that you know and love, like, age so much and like go through all this pain, and then at the last second. And also, at this point, it's kind of, like, semi-established in the lore that this could very well be the Doctor's last regeneration.
Yeah.
So the thought kind of going in was that the Doctor was going to die at the end of this episode. And only at, like, the last second does the Time Lord Council basically grant him
another regeneration cycle.
Yeah. So... yeah, absolutely beautiful.
I think his Christmas specials are S tier.
Yeah, definitely.
And then now that you were talking about it, I guess it's been so long, like you said, that like I watched all these in like 5th grade, so like it's a bit hazy. But don't the Doctors always regenerate in the Christmas specials? Like, yeah,
that's the thing.
So with that being said, I think 10th Doctors is S tier too. Like the End of Time Part 1 and 2, I don't want to go like.
Absolutely devious. Every regeneration scene makes me. I don't think the 9th Doctor regenerated on a Christmas special though. Because 9th Doctor regenerated at the end of Bad Wolf, I think.
Yes, but okay. This is they kind of did the 9th Doctor kind of dirty because
he only got one season.
From what I understand, they made the 10th Doctor's first episode like a Christmas special. So it was the one with the spinning Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And then and then he like goes and fights some aliens on a ship. Yeah.
And then this is the greatest part. He's just out of commission the entire episode, and Rose and the gang are like legit like trying to figure out like how do we stop these aliens. And then at the last second, I think it's like Rose's mom or something spills a cup of tea on the TARDIS, and then the 10th Doctor walks out and he's like, nothing to get you out of bed like a good old spot of tea or some other like British shenaniganry, and then he just like defeats the aliens. Honestly, that alone makes it like S tier. But I think the 9th Doctor's Christmas special was like the Are You My was it the Are You My Mummy episode?
It might have been, I think so.
Maybe.
So, his are B tier.
Hazy, B tier at most.
So, thus far, I guess just to keep you guys updated, so we would rank 10th and 11th Doctor Christmas specials S tier.
At this point, I feel like we're just not even talking about the Christmas specials. We're talking about the Doctors.
I know, but I mean, I feel like it's essential context. So the 9th Doctor Christmas specials are, I would say, is B tier.
Absolutely goated.
I can't say I've seen the 12th Doctor's Christmas specials.
I know I have, but I don't remember the specifics. I think one of the Christmas specials for the 12th Doctor, the 12th Doctor was chilling with like River Song or something, and the River Song plotline is just one of my favorite Doctor Who moments of all time. It's just so incredibly well done.
So would you rank that like A tier, 12th Doctor?
Yeah, definitely A tier. There's another 12th Doctor Christmas special. I believe this might be the episode that the 12th Doctor regenerates. What's its name? It's like Once Upon Two Doctors or whatever.
Yeah, I think he.
But
meets,
it's the one where like the 12th Doctor interacts with the first Doctor. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. We just went on a really really long and nerdy tangent.
Yeah.
So to make it a little more accessible to the non Doctor Who fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's. Because honestly, I don't remember. I probably have watched some of the 13th Doctor specials, but I honestly, for the life of me, could not tell you what happened in them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just cap it there and move on to another holiday movie.
Okay, sounds good. So, what are other holiday movies? I feel like.
I don't know.
Home Alone.
Home Alone, definitely.
Okay. This is, I guess, the controversial take. So, Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. What do you prefer?
Ooh. I'm more of a Home Alone 1 kind of guy. I'm gonna be honest.
Home Alone 1's a classic.
Home Alone 1's a classic.
I've seen both of them recently, actually, within the last like year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, I used to be more of a fan of Home Alone 2, but now that I've, watched them from, the age I am now, I guess, I would definitely say Home Alone 1 is better than 2.
Yeah.
So I think they're both S tier.
Mm-hmm. But Lost in New York is also a really fun one.
That is too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is
so
both of them.
I would say it's S tier, but like we talked about earlier with the whole tier subdivisions. I think Home Alone 1 is higher in the tier than Home Alone 2. Do you think it's better than Christmas specials? I feel like I'm too nerdy to put it above the Christmas specials.
Yeah, that's facts. Home Alone. Yeah, Home Alone's like A, maybe.
You think A?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not S. We haven't put anything in B tier yet.
And which one?
B or like any of the lower tiers. The Ninth Doctor's Christmas specials.
So Home Alone will go in, I think it's above Elf. I think it's top of A tier actually. Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. So we can move away from.
Yeah, we've talked enough about movies now. We can always come back later.
So just I guess let's see. All right. Immediate D tier. Eggnog.
Yeah.
Eggnog is
I
D-tier.
don't get the hype around eggnog.
Controversial opinion from the hosts of the Outta Pocket Podcast, but that's what you signed up for when you decided to listen to our show. Eggnog is D tier. Cuban hot chocolate is S tier.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
And I made you Cuban hot chocolate actually this past weekend. So
I mean, honestly, as much as I want to say Alejandro is being biased, Cuban hot chocolate smacks. It is so good.
Yeah.
Cannot complain.
So let's see. I guess.
Okay. Instant D tier for me. We're gonna be taking it to music for a little bit. The Taylor Swift Christmas album, bro. Oh my god! And for those of you who don't know, Alejandro is notorious, absolutely notorious for despising Taylor Swift's music. I'm more middle of the line. I
have no qualms about putting it in D tier.
I definitely like some of Taylor Swift's music, but oh my god, the Christmas album, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not gonna lie, that was a crime, a music crime.
Oh no. Oh man. Okay.
Speaking of Christmas music, Last Christmas by Wham. S tier, instant S tier. I'm that might be a controversial opinion because I know a lot of people hate it because it is overplayed. But George Michael has the voice of an angel, bro. You cannot tell me otherwise.
Another controversial opinion. I think All I Want for Christmas is B or C.
Really?
I'm not the biggest fan of this. I mean, yeah, I think it's overrated.
I like it. Arguments in favor of All I Want for Christmas, arguments against, yes, definitely overplayed. But arguments in favor, Mariah Carey is a great singer.
She has great range.
Mm-hmm.
but I feel
The whistle register, bro. Don't tell me. And second of all, it's like it gets you up and on your feet.
okay.
There's like that hemiola happening and like the piano part, like that nice polyrhythm type action.
So do you want to meet in the A tier?
Lower A tier.
Okay,
But
lower
yeah,
A tier.
I wouldn't put it above Home Alone.
Okay, so Home Alone 1 or 2 or both?
Just bottom of the A tier.
Bottom of the A tier.
Yeah.
Worse than Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer?
Okay, better than Grandma.
Better than Elf. Better or worse than Elf?
On par with Elf. Basically the same, like lower than Elf.
Okay. Alright, All I Want for Christmas. Let's see. Any other songs that you want to cover on this tier list?
Yeah, Michael Bublé Christmas album. That's at least an A tier
Yeah,
for me.
that is true.
Michael Bublé is great. Frank Sinatra, any Frank Sinatra Christmas song,
S tier.
S tier. Frank Sinatra himself is goated. It's just like this good.
Better than Last Christmas?
Ooh, for me, Last Christmas is the best. Like I will listen to Last Christmas in
Okay,
July.
I can take that. I can put Frank Sinatra right under Last Christmas, even though that might be a controversial take. But and then what did we just Michael Bublé? So where did you want to put that? A tier.
A tier.
A tier. Where in A tier? You think?
Underneath the Home Alone movies, but above everything else.
Got it. Okay. All right.
And just as a reminder for the people listening, we are in no way qualified to make a tier list of holiday things. These are just our personal opinions.
Yeah. So obviously,
it's all meant in good fun.
it's all meant in good fun, and if you wanna rank these things in tiers along with us, make your own tier list as we go, through the tier list, and then feel free to on your whether you're relaxed at home listening to this podcast or
working and listening to us in the background.
yeah, or on a trip somewhere, taking a drive. So let's see what else.
What
Snow.
other Christmas music? Oh, Snow?
Do you thoughts on Snow?
Okay. This is where it gets tricky because, like, waking up Christmas morning, snowfall, the ground is blanketed in like fluffy white snow. Phenomenal experience. Dealing with snow after that, when it stays longer than it is welcome, and it gets all mushy and gross, and like you start slipping on the sidewalk, and your fingers feel frigid and numb to the bone. F D tier. So
where are we putting Snow? C tier.
Nah, definitely higher. B tier.
Okay, B tier.
Like meet in the middle between S and D.
Fair enough. All right. What else?
Yellow snow.
Hey, relax. Where have you encountered yellow snow? Because I haven't.
What else? What else is like a quintessential holiday, like
Sweaters, holiday sweaters.
Sweaters.
Christmas sweaters.
I like them.
Me too.
I mess with. They
A
get
tier.
itchy though.
A tier. I think they're A tier. Unless you want to put them B.
They get itchy. Like fashion wise,
I feel like
holiday
you just gotta buy
sweaters
the
are
right ones. I mean,
holiday sweaters are great, but like
low A tier or high B tier?
Ooh. High B tier.
Okay, above Snow.
Definitely above Snow.
All right, ugly Christmas sweaters, high B tier. All right, what else should we rank?
Christmas trees.
They're just actually no, A tier.
A tier?
They get kind of messy, man.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I've never like basically we bought like a fake Christmas tree like 15 years ago, and we've been using that Christmas tree ever since. Like you can tell how old it is just by like the like layers of duct tape on the box.
Yeah, where in the tier?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I guess we can't really speak to real Christmas trees. I feel like there's something to be said about them, but I have no opinion because I've never had to deal with them.
they're messier than a fake Christmas tree.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
And also your house starts smelling like pine.
Not necessarily a bad thing.
When you're an asthmatic like me,
Oh,
so
no.
that's a horrible thing. So Christmas trees, I guess we can just do them in general. I think A tier above Michael Bublé's Christmas album. Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Because I feel like
C-
here's my reasoning. Most of the time when you're decorating the tree, well, actually, that
You-
would reverse my argument. Okay.
You're listening to Michael Bublé's Christmas
Yeah.
album. No, my family does the same thing. We listen to Christmas music and decorate the tree and like drink hot chocolate. Decorating the tree is always a fun time.
Decorating the tree. If we're separating
Decorating the
these two
tree
things,
is
decorating
S
the tree
tier.
is S tier. Decorating the tree is, to be honest, top of like. I feel like it's
That's like pretty much the first experience I think of when I'm thinking of Christmas. The second experience is running down the morning of Christmas and like finding the presents.
So you think top of S tier?
Definitely.
Okay, decorating the tree. And then Christmas trees in general, A tier. I want to hear more about. You know? I know.
What?
You're of Indian background, so I know you talked earlier about how Christmas is more of a, I guess, commercial, I guess, or
Yeah.
like more of a
Very Americanized.
very American. So, but do you have like any traditional foods that you guys make around the holidays just because?
Ooh. Well, here's the thing. For me, holiday season kind of starts in September. Like, because my family just has like a bunch of traditions. So we always kick off holiday season at at one of our family friends' house, celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, which is like one of the. It's a festival celebrating one of the Hindu gods, Ganesha. But then, yeah, so Ganesh Chaturthi always starts off the season basically right around Labor Day-ish. Then after that, it's like Navaratri. And like the dates change every year because it's based off of the lunar calendar. And so like Navaratri is sometimes late September, sometimes like early October, but always like right in that like fall vibe. Navaratri is like, if we're extending like this tier list to like the holidays in general beyond Christmas time,
Oh, I mean,
and I think we are, because we're talking about the holidays, so we can include like New Year's and whatnot. But yeah, Navaratri is always like top tier. Like low key, Navaratri is more of a holiday for me than Christmas.
yeah.
Cause like there's like the whole Christmas tree tradition, but for me, the thing that we decorate every year, because I come from a South Indian heritage and background, we celebrate Navaratri by basically building something called the Golu, which is like it's hard to describe. It's like a display of dolls essentially, but you kind of like build like stairs. So we built stairs eons ago, and we've just been recycling. We put them in a closet and then bring them out around Navaratri time. And like you lay the like you decorate it, you make it look nice, you put up lights with it, and we take the dolls, and they're not just like, I don't know, they're not like Barbie dolls. They have like cultural significance, They're like idols and figurines representing like a lot of the culture, and it's not just like gods and like figures like that. It's also just like we have like a series of dolls that sort of depicts like moments from daily life, or like musicians. So it's like it's always a fun time. And I was feeling kind of homesick around Navaratri this year, because like basically since high school started, I always would have like marching band season run right through Navaratri. So like I remember like I don't know, I haven't really been able to celebrate Navaratri like I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, like you have your Golu, So like your family would have the golu and everyone else would have their golu. So literally the whole like Navaratri is 9 days. It literally translates into 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
So like literally for that entire week, like usually it's like if you're unfortunate, you only get one weekend in those 9 days, but if you get lucky, you get two.
Nice.
So like from the start of that first weekend to the end of the second one, you're like hitting up different houses. You're getting like the food. Oh my god, the food around Navaratri time is awesome.
Yeah.
Like you're hitting up booties, you're hitting devious licks on like the dosas. Oh my, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you would go pretty much every day, cycle around, meet all, like pretty much. There's a lot of people who you'd see around Navaratri time who you're just like too busy to see during the rest of the year. So like you kind of get to catch up with a lot of people you don't really see. It really brings the community together. So yeah, that was a huge thing that I always loved doing as a kid. And once high school hit, I got like really busy, so I could only really go to like my own family's Navaratri like celebration when we call everyone over, because like during the week I'm like taking AP World notes and I can't like go around and like spin the block.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and even sometimes I couldn't even go because like marching band competitions, if it happened to fall on the day that we did Navaratri, it was like game over because
Yeah.
like literally marching band competitions, I would have to like wake up at like 7 or 8, and I wouldn't be back until like 9 or 10 in the night.
Mm-hmm.
It was like like a 14-hour commitment on like a Saturday, and like I'd get home and I'm just like absolutely like exhausted, but still, even so, I was still missing being able to be around my family for that this year, because like is I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the obviously there are not like Brown is a predominantly white institution.
Yeah.
We know this, and the South Asian community here, uh, I feel like there's still I don't know if it's just like I haven't met a lot of them, or like or the community just really isn't here. But I feel like the South Asian community here, and no hate on it. I still like watch Bollywood movies, and my dad grew up in Mumbai, and so like I have a little Hindi, but I feel like it's very predominantly like North Indian, and I haven't really met a lot of South Indians here. And I feel like even if like there are people like me who come from a South Indian heritage, um, I feel like it's just not as common to like kind of share those, like be excited about those experiences,
Yeah.
because like there are certain holidays that are like straight up not celebrated in North India,
I was
because
gonna ask that. Yeah, I was gonna ask
yeah,
that.
like there's like a lot of like I feel like from an outsider perspective, you could just look at India and be like, it's a very homogenous population, but anyone with more than a basic knowledge of India knows that it is incredibly diverse. So lots of different traditions. Honestly, traditions that I don't even really know about, or I'm not really familiar with. I really only know the stuff that I grew up with.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely there's a lot of shared traditions. Like I pretty much celebrate like Diwali, and Diwali is another one of the holidays that um comes around this time. Usually like October. If it comes super late, it might be the beginning of November. But I feel like Diwali is also the like probably the most one of the most popular Indian holidays that like people tend to know about.
Yeah.
And like, and for no fault of Diwali, it's because it's celebrated by all of a lot of Indian cultures, and especially like North Indian cultures. I feel like it's sort of amplified more. And once again, like definitely no hate or like angst about it, because I love celebrating. This is the stuff I grew up with, and it always, as I mentioned before, I feel like it always brought the community together. But still, like, that's why, like, holidays like Navaratri or like Pongal are like still like predominantly South Indian. So it's not like as widely, I feel like distributed is the right word. It's not like as widely disseminated as like the bigger holidays, but still, that was a really long tangent.
Hey, it's okay. I really enjoyed hearing, like, sort of the backgrounds.
Definitely.
This is like stuff that, being from Miami, there's not a large Indian population, so this isn't stuff that I've ever, learned about through just talking to friends. But yeah, so I mean, not to sort of overshadow, everything you just said, but just like, so I guess going back to the original question, so are there like, because, like I said, this is a comprehensive holiday tier list, so we can extend the holiday season to include
Definitely. If there are things I had to include on the tier list, an A tier, but like top A tier, like above Home Alone for me, lighting fireworks during Diwali.
Okay.
Like, great experience. The only reason it's not an S tier is because like you walk inside and you just smell like sulfur and like it's loud, so like you can't hear yourself. But aside from that, Diwali, lighting the fireworks is always a blast, pun intended. S tier, the food. Oh my god.
Okay, so I actually do want to categorize foods individually. I'll get into that in a second. And then just to confirm, Diwali is spelled with a W, right? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, there's different pronunciations throughout India. Like, Diwali is I'm at least this is the impression I have. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but at least from what I've seen growing up, Diwali is, as spelled with a W, is a very like North Indian pronunciation, whereas in the South it's pronounced like Deepavali, but it's like a very small distinction, and most people call it Diwali, myself included.
Okay. So one of the foods, interestingly enough, that we discovered our cultures essentially share, although they're not identical, but they are very similar, is what my culture calls turron. And what was it? You have to remind me.
Yeah, we have a very similar thing to turron called we call it kaju katli.
Yes.
Or like kaju barfi.
Yeah. So essentially, my culture, the only difference really is that turron's made with almonds, and you guys make it with cashews.
Yep.
So
pretty much.
That's essentially it. Like, so I mean, we can,
Yeah, and I gave you some when I got some during the holidays.
It basically tasted the exact same as what what turron tastes like, which I actually had some during Thanksgiving, and like, yeah, I mean, obviously all you could do is like, you can taste the difference between the almond and the cashew, but yeah. So where do you want to rank that? I feel
like the sweets, or like turron specifically.
No, this dish specifically, because I want to do different.
Yeah.
Dishes. I think it's A tier.
Yeah, kaju katli has always been A tier for me. Like, it's always been great. My sister is a fiend for kaju katli, but I'm personally more of a Mysore pak kind of guy.
Okay. So A tier.
Yeah, definitely.
Above or below fireworks?
Below.
Okay. And then want to let me know how to spell it? It's
Kaju space Katli.
There you go. And then what was that other dessert you mentioned? I'm just curious, like.
Ooh.
The one you just mentioned that you
Mysore pak?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like literally probably so bad for you, but it's like it melts in your mouth. It's like this like really buttery, sweet, like it's hard to describe, but basically butter and sugar, but wow, it's just
S tier?
Yeah, definitely S tier.
Top of S tier?
What do we have in S tier so far?
So far in S tier we have Decorating the Tree, Keeping Hot Chocolate, Last Christmas, Frank Sinatra Christmas songs, the 10th and 11th Doctor Christmas specials, the movie Die Hard, and then the movie Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which I watched as a kid.
I'll put it right next to Cuban hot chocolate. Okay. For sure.
And how do you spell
Mysore, like Mysore,
Okay.
and then Pak, like Pak,
Got
I
it.
believe.
Okay. For me, um, I gotta rank flan. Flan is a
Yeah,
big one.
definitely. Go
Um,
ahead.
I will put that under Cuban hot chocolate. I don't like it as much as Cuban hot chocolate. Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
That's the truth.
What else? Let's see.
Yeah.
Do you guys do so? Do you do any? I guess the dinners you do are, um, around the holidays that you celebrate
Mm-hmm.
within your culture. Is there any like dishes that you eat specifically at this holiday? So I know like for me, we make like a roast ham, like
Mm-hmm.
specifically at Noche Buena, which is like, for us it's Christmas Eve, so we just have a dinner, um, the night before Christmas, and so like we make like very specific food. So like we'll make a flan. Like flan's a very like
Right.
special occasion type food where like we'll make a flan like basically twice a year at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. So like flan's like one of those like what I consider for me a holiday dish,
Mm-hmm.
because like something that I only have really like twice a year and during the holidays. And then so like I said, we only
Yeah.
make like a ham like basically at Christmas or like anything
Mhm.
like that. In
I don't
Indian
think we
culture.
have anything like that. We definitely, or at least my mom definitely has dishes that she only makes for like special occasions,
Yeah.
like big parties or whatnot. But I don't think we have anything that only comes out during. Well, actually, we like because I said we have like a lot of traditions of going to friends' houses to celebrate the holidays. Like
Mhm.
the Christmas party is always in the Shanmugam's house, and like New Year's party is for the most part like a lot of times in our house, like etc. etc. And we always bust out. We have this we found this Paula Deen recipe for like corn casserole, and we've been using it
Corn
every
casserole
year.
is so good. I
Yeah,
can't
corn
even.
casserole is godly. S tier.
Okay,
Instant S
fair
tier.
enough. I think it goes under the desserts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Under the desserts, better or worse than last Christmas.
Ooh. Worse than Last Christmas. I love Last Christmas.
Oh, interesting. For me, it's probably better than last Christmas.
Okay, fair enough. You can put it above. Doesn't really matter.
Sure. Okay. Okay. We have a lot of stuff in S tier and a lot of stuff in A tier.
Yeah. Maybe we just really like the holidays.
I definitely do. I'm not gonna lie.
There's not a lot of part about the holidays that I
A C tier
don't
thing
like.
though. Advent calendars. I think Advent calendars.
I don't really know anything about advent calendars, so I can't really speak to that.
Alright.
But what's your rationale?
It's just like I got other things to. I'm like I'll forget to check a calendar every day. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
Right.
anything else?
I don't know. I feel like we've covered. Oh, but before we forget, for me, top of S tier is honestly like I was going to say decorating the golu with my family, but honestly, I think you can relate to this too. Like I know like relationships are complicated and everyone has a different equation, but for me, holidays have always meant spending time with family.
Yeah.
And that's honestly going to be at the top of the S tier for me anytime.
Yeah. I think a lot of the things that made uh, Christmas magical for me were like similar to how you were saying you guys would get together at a family friend's house or at your house. Like we would always do the same thing, like get together at a family friend's house. Gingerbread houses. That's
Mhm.
something else.
Where
I
would
think
you
we're B
rank
tier.
gingerbread houses?
I think
Yeah,
we're B tier.
gingerbread houses are B tier.
I think bottom of B tier to be honest.
Yeah, gingerbread in general,
Actually,
like
C tier.
it's
C tier.
I.
You just reminded me of the taste instant C tier. Yeah. I don't like gingerbread.
Bruh.
It's better than eggnog, but it's
Okay, yeah, and then the ginger gets all like stale if you leave it out, and all like the stuff you put on the gingerbread house gets gross, and it's just like,
there's one in New Pembroke Forest Kitchen that has been there for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
What's the deal with that?
I have no idea because although I live there, I have no idea who made it. To the people who made that gingerbread house, if you're listening right now, you might want to.
Dog, you gotta clean that up. It's gonna attract ants.
Yeah, you might want to prevent an infestation in New Pam's kitchen. Um, what else? Let's see.
Mm, we covered food, we covered music, we
Actually,
covered movies.
we've been focusing. I feel like when we think the holidays, we think we're very Christmas centric. So
Yeah.
I guess like okay.
What are some parts about New Year's?
Yes.
That...
So resolutions. What do you think?
Oh, resolutions. I have a dicey history with revolutions, because I feel like I never really like I don't really take them seriously.
Never.
So like when someone asks me what's your resolution next year, I'm like, I don't know, be more happy. Like I never do anything like more concrete.
Mhm.
So my resolutions are always either something super like not serious that I don't really care about, or something too abstract to like actually follow through on. Like, oh, be more healthy. Like, like
Mhm.
and there are definitely like there are years that I try to make like changes, like earlier this year, like this like summer coming, right, like from spring onwards, I'm
Mhm.
like the weather's warming back up, like I'm going to college in the fall, like I want to get into like fitness, so I like started, like I got a gym membership and I was like consistently exercising and I made noticeable progress. But I feel like that didn't have anything to do with a New Year's resolution. I
Mhm.
think that was just me. So honestly, New Year's
I think
resolutions,
C
I
tier.
couldn't care
I
less.
think
Yeah.
C tier.
So yeah, C
I think
tier.
like the idea of them is nice, but nobody ever
Yeah,
really
exactly.
carries them out, and yeah, but
If I ever make changes, it's never because of a New Year's resolution.
yeah. What else? There was something that came to mind. Oh, I don't know. We have this tradition where we at New Year's take 12 grapes, one for each month, and we put them in a glass of apple cider, and you're supposed to eat all 12 grapes within a minute, I think, if I remember correctly. Otherwise, your year's doomed.
Oh no.
So, uh,
And is this like a family-wide tradition or is this like a wider cultural thing?
I think this is a family tradition because I've always done it here in America, but like I said, like I mentioned earlier, one year um, we did go to Cuba, and we did do it there. However, I think that was more so my mom carrying the tradition like from America
Mhm.
to Cuba just because we happened to be there at the time. So I do think that's just a family tradition of mine. But I think it does exist in like other families beyond cultures too. I'm not 100% sure, but as we
Mhm.
talked about, like since it's something I've personally experienced, like I'm gonna rank it. I it's just fun to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it
just
sounds
something
fun.
like it's a bit superstitious, but it is something kind of just fun. Um, so I think personally for me it's A tier. I think
Would it go above or below Home Alone?
it's
Honestly, traditions like that, for me at least, would beat out movies. Because they have like better memories associated with them.
it does. Actually, a funny story. So I will put. I don't even know what to call them. I'll just call them
The grape
grapes.
tradition.
Yeah, grapes. Funny story. So like, um, the one time I ever can recall my mother lying to me was when one year we, it's we're at my grandma's house. And they break out the quote unquote apple cider, and they put 12 grapes in it, and they give everybody a glass. And I remember drinking this apple cider, and I said these words explicitly to my mom. This tastes a lot like ginger ale. And my mother was like, no, it's not ginger ale, I assure you.
Stop the cap.
Years later, I come to find out it was ginger ale.
Stop
and
the
that
cap.
the apple cider had expired, and she didn't want to ruin the tradition for me, which I respect, and it was very sweet. But she really lied to me. She really told me that ginger ale was apple cider. I was like, damn,
That's
I was a little salty for years to come. I still hold it against her as the one time that she lied straight
That's
to my
funny.
face. But that is a tradition of ours, to drink apple cider.
Another New Year's tradition that I really enjoy: yelling the countdown, especially when
true.
you get to the last 10 seconds. Um,
I feel like that's
S
S
tier.
tier. That's so classic. I think it's kind of lower S tier. Like,
Yeah, like below the foods.
I think it's below Last
Actually,
Christmas. Below. I think it's below the music too. Like
okay,
below Last Christmas. I think.
like bottom of S tier then.
Yeah. So New Year's countdown, and then do you ever watch the ball drop?
Yeah,
What do you think? Where do you rank that? Because that's like I feel like we can categorize that separately.
like like
Yeah.
I
I
feel
feel-
like it would be so much more exciting if you were standing in Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
But even so, I've heard from, I think my dad might have been in Times Square one year during the ball drop, and he said it was cold and crowded and
Yeah.
kind of sucky, and you couldn't really see the ball drop anyway.
I feel like the ball drop is something just to kill time. Like it's just to kill time until.
Yeah.
That's all. And also now in retrospect, the ball drop is only a thing for East Coast people. Because
Yeah, because for the West Coast, like,
if you're in any other time zone other than the East Coast, the ball always drops in some other time, like at some random time. Like, you're not doing anything. So
ball drop is like actually ball drop C tier.
okay.
Like
ball
what
drop's-
even happens when the ball drops? It
Nothing.
just like
I
nothing,
think
right?
confetti.
Confetti. Or,
So C tier, higher or lower than resolutions?
lower.
Uh,
Because like I honestly couldn't care less about the ball drop.
Okay, fair enough.
Hosts on various channels talking about New Year's. The one that's specific, yeah, cringe.
D tier.
The one, the one that specifically comes to my mind for some reason is Anderson Cooper. For some reason, I have this very vivid memory of Anderson Cooper coming back year after year, like on CNN or something, just like doing the New Year's stuff, and I'm like they add like high key they add nothing.
I was gonna say that I think it's above Eggnog and the Taylor Christmas album, but
Yeah, it's above the other two.
okay. New Year's fireworks.
Like, are you talking about like watching them or on the TV or like
Both.
setting them off? Because I don't think we ever set off fireworks for New Year's.
Now that I think about it, me neither. But like, I guess seeing them, because I know a lot of the times I can see them from my house.
Oh, nice.
So-
Then like B tier,
Sure.
like A tier. Ooh,
It's B tier.
juicy one.
Bottom B tier, I think.
Kissing someone at midnight, or in general, like
Mistletoe.
yeah. Like, why is kissing someone around the holidays like such a thing?
That's C tier.
Because
risk
I've
of
never
her-
had it happen, bro. I'm
uh,
gonna be real with you.
Facts. C tier, risk of herpes.
The risk of mono ended.
Risk of spreading disease. C tier. Bottom of C tier. Actually, no, it's better than gingerbread. It's better. Okay, top of C tier.
I have never seen a mistletoe in my life, bro.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Christmas.
We might get canceled for that one, chief.
Christmas / New Year's kisses. I think that's it. I mean, I think we
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground. We covered a lot of Christmas, a lot of New Year's traditions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and for me especially, like, yeah, Christmas and New Year's is nice because we get those few weeks off from school.
Yeah.
But my holiday season always came during the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I still had to go to school, but when nighttime rolled around, like, I was hopping from auntie's house to auntie's house, like, eating up inhaling food. By the end of the night, I was stuffed every single time.
Yeah.
Well, okay, instant D tier experience, and this one is hyper specific to me, right? So part of the Golu, because it's religious, like, oh my god, I'm about to. So basically, like, a tradition is kind of like, especially for the little kids, they make you like sing like bhajans and like prayers, like in front of the Golu, and my dad made me take Indian classical music lessons, Carnatic music lessons when I was a kid. So at least when I was a kid, every time I roll from Golu to Golu, they'd be like, "Oh, Dhruv, he must sing something for us," and I'm like, "Oh no,
Alright,
no."
D tier. Is it bottom of D tier?
It's better than the Taylor Swift Christmas album.
Eggnog.
Everything's better than Taylor Swift.
Better or worse than eggnog?
better than eggnog. It still has memories associated with it.
Okay,
But
sing
oh
it.
no, me and my sister would have to be like, okay, this is the song we're hitting this year. We come up with a game plan. We walk in, we say hi to the aunties. When the moment they ask, we sit down in front of the golu, we spit the song, we get up, hit the food. Like
Nice.
game plan for every house.
Nice.
But yeah,
Yeah, and so honestly, ending on that note, I feel like it's important to note that the holidays, whether it be, Indian holidays, your Indian holiday season in the fall, or the very sort of American holiday season that we have from November to December, it's really important to spend time with family.
hmm
That's essentially what these holidays are really about. I think these holidays are honestly meant to appreciate life, in my opinion.
yeah,
It's meant
definitely.
to not only celebrate, like whether it be Thanksgiving, which is a very American holiday, but in general, these holidays are meant to celebrate not only what you have,
hmm
but the family that supports you along the way, and also about giving back to show the people you care about you
Yeah.
appreciate them, and also. And in the case of New Year's, reflecting on life and sort of where you are, where you're headed, and what you plan to do in life. So
Yeah, like
aside,
Auld Lang Syne, the New Year's tradition, S tier. Kind of just listening to Auld Lang Syne. It's a song about reflection,
yeah,
and honestly, it's just a very beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Like, so
So,
yeah.
yeah, so with that
One more
being-
thing
yeah.
to add. Like even if you don't celebrate, the holidays,
Mhm.
or at least you don't celebrate in a traditional fashion, even if maybe your relationship with your family or friends is a little tense. I still always think of the holidays as a great opportunity to, maybe make amends. And if you're not at that place, just be grateful for the love and the people you have in your life who you do like to spend time with.
Yeah.
So, on that note, I think our time
Is up.
is up. It's always a pleasure talking to you, brother.
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you too.
Gonna miss you during the winter break.
Yes, sir.
And just to say it again, to those of you who've been tuning in, thank you. You've been listening to 101.1 FM, WBRU LP, WFOO LP, WVVX LP Providence. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Outta Pocket Podcast. We'll see you next week. And for those guys who need to hear it, she's just not that into you, bro.
Hey, catch you later, guys. Take care and happy holidays. Stay safe.